Always low prices at Pahrump Valley Auto Plaza.
A ceasefire agreement that was recently proposed and drafted by the US, Israel, Qatar, and Egypt is currently being looked at by Hamas officials, and according to a senior Hamas official, the group will respond soon to the proposal. The proposal includes extended pauses in Gaza's fighting, as well as hostage exchanges for Hamas's hostages for Palestinians imprisoned in Israel. These exchanges are said to be done in phases. Osama Hamdan, the Hamas senior official, also added that the release of their remaining hostages is only possible if Israel ends the war in Gaza and releases the thousands of Palestinians held by Israel. He specifically named two prisoners as well, one being Marwan Barghouti and the other being Ahmed Sadat. Marwan Barghouti is a Palestinian uprising leader who is currently serving multiple life sentences in Israel. This is due to his alleged role in several deadly attacks that were reportedly carried out a generation ago. According to reports as well, Barghouti is a popular figure among Palestinians, being viewed as a unifying figure. Ahmed Sadat, the other named prisoner, is the head of the Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine. According to the Director of National Intelligence, the Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine is a Syria-based terrorist group. Hamdan has additionally alleged that temporary truces between Hamas and Israel are always violated by Israel, referencing the week-long truce that occurred in November of 2023 last year. Meanwhile, according to the United Nations Satellite Center, nearly one-third of all structures within the Gaza Strip have been damaged by the war between Israel and Hamas. Of the reported 69,147 damaged structures, 22,000 of the structures were reported to be completely destroyed. The United Nations Satellite Center also stated that Gaza City and Khan Yunis were the two areas that sustained the most damage. The United Nations International Children's Emergency Fund have reported that the children in Gaza are in desperate need of mental health support due to the worsening humanitarian crisis in the Gaza Strip. Jonathan Cricks, the UNICEF spokesperson, stated that children have been showing extremely high levels of persistent anxiety, loss of appetite, they can't sleep, and they have emotional outbursts of panic every time they hear the bombings. He added that the length and intensity of Israel's campaign, as well as the fact that most of the region's children are displaced, has made nearly all the children in the region in need of mental health support. Lastly, the U.S. has bolstered the defenses of Tower 22, which is a U.S. military base in Jordan, which was recently attacked by a drone, resulting in the death of 3 service members. Harakat al-Nujaba, which is an Iraqi Shiite paramilitary group, has announced that despite other allied factions calling off attacks on U.S. troops, they will continue to do so. A majority of the Iranian-backed militias under the Islamic resistance have been a threat to the U.S. in the Middle East. However, their attacks intensified once Hamas attacked southern Israel on October 7th last year. Even though Harakat al-Nujaba plans to continue its attacks on U.S. troops, Hezbollah has released a statement stating that they would suspend their military and security operations against the occupying forces. They said they would do this in order to avoid embarrassing the Iraqi government. Previous U.S. responses in Iraq and Syria have typically been limited. However, according to an anonymous U.S. official, the attack on Tower 22 has crossed a line, most likely considering as well that the 3 who died in the attack on Tower 22 is the first time during the Israel-Hamas war that U.S. service members have been killed.